Hi there, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be discussing about AWS ASG scaling policies. In my previous video, I just showed you how to create an auto scaling group and just we use the default scaling policies. But in today's video, we'll be discussing more about the scaling policy. So this is a basic about, if you haven't watched my previous video, a brief introduction. Like auto scaling groups, it helps us to, it's basically a collection of EC2 instances that are treated as a logical grouping for the purpose of automatic scaling and management. It provides a scaling features such as health check, replacements, and scaling policies. So we will go through this scaling policies in today's video. So this is a basic. Just if you haven't gone through my previous video, you can just have a quick review over here. So in today's lab, again, we will repeat the same steps. We will create a target group. We will create a load balancer. Then we will have an auto scaling group template. Then we will launch that one and we will see what are the different types of scaling policies. So we will directly jump into the lab because these things we already discussed. So let's move on to the AWS console. So first of all, I will go to the EC2. So I'm going to create one target group. So my target will be instances. So let it be the same, everything, no change. Just we need to provide the target group name. So I'm providing my TG1. Next. Okay, no need of selecting any instance because we will be creating an auto scaling group. So just create the target group. And then we can also create a load balancer. It's not mandatory, just for a quick review. Load balancers. So create a load balancer. Create. So we'll give the name my ALB 1. So it will be internet facing and IPv4 address type. And we can choose over here the mappings. I'm just quickly moving on to this all the options because we have already done in the previous video. So you can see the default group, my target group 1, HTTP port 80, and that's all. So here by default security group is there. We can edit this one, and we can, if you remember in the previous video, I created my ASG security group in which I have defined SSH and HTTP. So I'm choosing this one, or you can just create a new security group if you want. Create the load balancer. Okay, it will take some time for provisioning. Let's see, let's go back to, in the meantime, we can work on our auto scaling group. So create auto scaling group. My ASG1. And we can choose a launch template. So you can see I'm already having 2 templates. If you want, you can use that one. So my ASG template I'm using from the previous video. If you want, you can create a new template. Next. And you can choose over here the zones. and then next. So we can attach to existing load balancer. And we can click next. So just I'm keeping this one as it is. So I'm just not doing anything else. Just then I will come back to this target tracking. Next. So these are the default things. Desired capacity, minimum capacity, and the maximum capacity. And then I have to create this. So you can see this is my auto scaling group. It is updating. So if I go inside this, I can just go to the activity, and you can see in the activity history, it's launching an EC2 instance. But that is the by default, not the by default template. There's a previous template that we created, so we can use that existing template multiple times. So no need of creating again and again. You can review my quickly review my previous video if you have any doubts. So we can check our load balancer. It is active. Then our EC2 instances, if you see, it will be launching one EC2 instance. Yeah. So we can just access this one. We can use the load balancer also. I'll copy this one. Okay, it's working fine. Now we can go to the load balancer. Copy the DNS. Take care of the security group. Okay, so both are working fine. Now let's move on to our auto scaling group, and we will see the policies. This is my auto scaling group. Okay, this one we need to click out on the template. Now you can see over here, we have this desired capacity, minimum and maximum. Now activity we already saw over here in the activity history, successful, one EC2 instance was being launched, then automatic scaling. Now these are the policies that we need to take care. Now this dynamic policies are there if you want some real-time data based upon that, like suppose on the weekend or you are launching a new website, or you know that on the weekends the customers are more, so depending upon that you can create your dynamic scaling policies. So you can spin up more EC2 instance depending upon your weekends or any scheduled activity or any events or any like online events you're going to run. So for that you can create. So here also you can see step scaling is there, simple scaling is there. If you see the simple scaling, you can just create a one CloudWatch alarm over here. Depending, now if you see this CloudWatch alarm, you can create it based upon so select a metric. We need to select which metric. Based upon that we can create a CloudWatch alarm. So you can see EC2 instance, root and logs and all. Lots of things are there. We'll come back to this. Now, similarly, you can see over here, if you see this target tracking scaling, you can see policy name, that is by default. You can change this one, and you can see I can calculate like average CPU utilization, average networking bytes, average network out bytes, application load balancer, request count. So I can provide a certain value based upon that, and instances need how many to warm up before including the metric you require. So we can create this dynamic scaling policy. Now, if you go back over here, and this one, we can, if you go to the automatic scaling, now here we can have a predictive one. So like if you having some data from the previous data we have from like machine learning and all, how the usage of the user and all, depending upon that, you want to scale it out. Like you can have a forecast, like how many users will be using your applications and what time and what days of the week, and also you can have a predictive sampling, and depending upon that you can do the scaling also. And another thing, you can also do a scheduled one, like based upon certain schedule. So if you go to the create schedule action, so you can define the name and you what desired capacity you want, and what is the minimum and what is the maximum, and how many times it should reoccur, every 5 minutes or 30 minutes every week. And even you can define the time zone, and you can also define what specific time you want to start and what time you want to end it. So this is a scheduled one, like predefined at a specific time. There is not having any dynamic one, or it is not having any predictive scaling. So the best one over here, we can go ahead with the dynamic scaling policy. Okay, now we will create over here dynamic scaling policy. Now, as I told you, there are different types are there. We can go for the target, we can go for the step scaling, or we can go for the simple scaling. So all are having its own features. You can see the simple scaling, but we need to create over here CloudWatch alarm first, then only we can have it. And how many instances you want to add or remove the capacity units. And even in this step scaling, we can have multiple instances. We can add it over here. You can see. But we will go ahead with the target tracking. And average CPU utilization, let it be 50. And let's create this. So we have created over here. You can see it is being enabled. Now, if you go to the monitoring, so you can see over here, it's taking time, some time to load. You can just click on EC2. So you can see CPU utilization, it is 3.79, whatever it is. So it's not much. So we will stress out this one, but before that, we need to connect to EC2 dashboard. Through this easy to connect, we will connect this one. We will select this and connect. I'm using a root user, so just take care of that. If you're not using a root user, you need to make sure your user is having the permissions. So that's it. I got connected to my EC2 instance. So I'll just copy this stress code. But before executing this one, I need to make sure I'm having my, let me go to this one. I'll go to the auto scaling groups, my auto scaling group. I will just change this one, maximum capacity to 3. Minimum then 1, then desired is 1. So when we stress out, when CPU utilization will become more than 50, so automatically it will spin up the EC2 instance from here. Let's update this one. Now again, I'll go back to this one. So here I'm going to write these few commands. Okay, let me copy properly. And let me type it over here. And then I'll run this one for 5 minutes. Okay, let's see our now. We will go to this auto scaling group. So we can go to the auto scaling over here. It's working. Now we go to the monitoring. So click on the EC2 instance over here. So we'll just refresh this one. You can see that line will be going up, the CPU utilization over here. Or you can check it from here directly from the activity. So just refresh this one. I think I make some mistake on it's fine. Yeah, stress into. Let me check over here. I think I need to make it 4 CPUs. Let me use the sudo stress -cpu4. Now we can go back to our auto scaling group. We can check the monitoring over here. Okay, so you can see the spike over here. We can go to the activity. Let me refresh. Okay, we will do one thing. We will just restart our EC2 instance. It should work over here. I just restarted my EC2. So you can see waiting for EC2 instance, and you can see monitor alarm tracking. So alarm triggered this one. So it is waiting for new EC2 instance to be launched. It will take some time. We can check over here. So you can see two are running depending upon the alarm that we have created. So this is how we can have a dynamic auto scaling policies. You can refresh, it will take some time for this. So depending upon the CPU utilization, it has scaled up this one, target tracking policy. So once the CPU utilization has reached 50%, the 50 value, then we can add or remove depending, and 300 seconds is there, means the 5 minutes is there. It will take some time to warm up. So, but you can see over here, we got the two EC2 instances over here running. And you can check the IP addresses and all. You can just run this. And again, if I go back to the activity, so just wait after running the stress. You need to wait for it in order to work, because there is 300 seconds is there. We can reduce the time, but this is how we can work with auto scaling. So you can see now we have two EC2 instances running depending upon the CPU utilization metrics that we have. So this is how we can create our dynamic scheduling policies in auto scaling group. So once this is done, so you just do the cleanup. We can go to the target group, we can delete our target group, and then we can also delete our load balancer, as well as we can go to the auto scaling group. So you can just select this one and you can see over here desired capacity and all those things are coming over here. You can delete it once it is done in order to avoid any building up. Little bit some interface issues are there because they have launched a new interface. So old console is not there. Little bit complexities are there. So you can see over here, you can edit this one also. Again, this add capacity 2. So it went to 2 and we can have 1. So this is how you can make the changes. So it will automatically, so all the things you need to watch in the activity. So in the activity, you can watch your alarms over here. You can see launching an EC2 instance, and you can see a monitor alarm target tracking alarm high. So it has changed the capacity from 1 to 2, was started in response to the this is actually because of the desired and actual capacity, increasing the capacity to 1 to 2. But here we haven't seen that CPU utilization. So I think the stress didn't worked out, but you can try that and you can just put it in the comment whether it worked or not. I think I just restarted my EC2 instance. That's why the stress was not able to trigger the alarm. But this is how you can see it is showing clearly the target tracking, it worked. So we can use this dynamic scheduling in order to spin up our EC2 instance and reduce our EC2 instance also. So I hope you like my video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.